Hello students, I hope you are in good state of health. Today we are going to start lesson first, that is representation of geographical features of class 8. Some basic terms. The first one is topography. Topography, it refers to the shape of the land on earth, that is the shape of any kind of landform. Next, relief. It refers to the height of different landforms on earth. Contour lines are the lines drawn on the map that join different places having the same height above sea level. And here I would like to add one point, that contour lines never cross each other. Next is characteristics of contour lines. All contour lines are numbered and drawn at regular intervals and in meters. The vertical, that is along y-axis, distance between two successive contours is called vertical interval or contour interval. In maps of Survey of India, the vertical interval is always it always measures 20 meter. The horizontal distance between two successive contours is called the horizontal equivalent. As we can see in the diagram, in the first diagram here, the I is the vertical interval and horizontal equivalent is shown with a capital E. And I is always equal to 20 meter. As you can see here, 260 meter is the highest point. After that comes the 240 meter and they both have a difference of 20 meter. Next is contour lines representing a hill. There is a spot height which is measuring 90 meter. And the next one is 60 and the next one is 30 meter. Next are the contour lines representing a mountain. Here also the spot height is 400 meter. Next is contour lines representing a plateau. Plateaus are broad highlands that rise abruptly. It is also called tableland because of its shape. As if we see the plateau from above, it is a flat top mountain. The flat top is shown here measuring 200 meter in height from sea level. Next is contour lines representing a ridge. Ridge is a long, narrow and elliptical contour. Long, narrow and elliptical contours represent a ridge. You can see they are all egg-shaped, elongated egg-shaped. Next comes the contours representing both spurs and river valley. It is a bit confusing. Here you need to see that valley is going upwards and spurs are the pieces of hard rock that protrude into river valleys. You can see the river stream and alongside there are spurs. Spur is mentioned clearly, as you can see. Now from the river valley, because valley is a low land area, so the spur which is starting from the river valley is mentioned as 240 meter and it goes upwards as 260 and 280 respectively. Next comes a cliff. Cliff is a very steep and almost vertical rock face which lies along a sea coast. Mostly along sea coasts they can be seen. First, here if we see a cliff, the top of the cliff, the peak of the cliff is actually seen here. And contour lines are very close together. You can see some ones are actually overlapping. The first one is overlapping the other ones. That is, the one with 300 meter height is overlapping the other ones. They are not actually crossing them, but it is just to show that they overlap, that the top of the cliff actually comes over is seen, and the below ones, the contour lines which are present below the peak are not seen. That is why the lines that are mentioning 100 meter and 50 meter are only seen after the peak, that is the 300-meter line contour, you can say contour line. Next is a col and a pass. A col is difficult to cross. Cols are actually dips in the summit line of mountain ranges. As you can see, they are formed by erosive action of glaciers. And next comes the pass. It is a low point or opening between two peaks in a range of mountains. Range of mountains is a series of mountains. Next comes saddle. Saddle is also again a dip or low point between two summits. A saddle usually has higher ground on two sides and lower ground on the other two sides, as is shown. On a topo sheet, it is indicated by an hourglass kind of structure. Gaps are low areas between two mountain ranges. Again, gaps are usually carved by the erosive action of rivers and streams. So we mostly find a stream or river through a gap. The South Col, as you can see here, the South Col lies between peaks Mount Everest and Lao Tse. Next are the drainage patterns. Topographical maps are also used for understanding drainage pattern of an area. Drainage pattern is the pattern which is formed by a river and its tributaries. Drainage pattern is affected by the relief, rocks and slope of the land from of which the drainage pattern we want to know. We use blue color to show perennial water bodies and black color to show seasonal water bodies. Seasonal water bodies don't carry water throughout the year. They are seasonal. They carry water only in particular seasons. Next are types of drainage patterns. There are mainly three types: dendritic, radial and trellised. Dendritic is a branching tree-like pattern. If you see in your textbooks, it's given there. Radial forms a pattern like that of the spokes of a wheel, and these are particularly seen in areas where conical mountains are found. Trellised forms a rectangular pattern, and it is seen in areas with alternating bands of hard and soft rock. Representation of cultural features on topographical maps. Now, representation of features. First, we will take types of settlements. Well, there are many types of settlements shown on a topographical map. First is permanent and temporary settlements. People live in permanent settlements around the year and enjoy basic facilities, while in temporary settlements, people stay for a brief period, and such settlements lack basic facilities like those of nomads and the people who keep wandering here and there. They don't have a permanent settlement. Next are the nucleated settlements. These include the areas where houses or buildings are grouped close together. They appear as many red squares clumped at one place when seen from above. Linear settlements are the settlements which occur along straight lines on the banks of rivers, or they can be in the periphery of roads or railway tracks. Next are the dispersed settlements. Dispersed settlements include houses scattered over wider area, mostly found in mountainous or arid regions. Now, the land use. Land use means the purpose to which a land is put, that is agriculture or mining, etc. Next are the locating places on topographical maps. Now, how do we locate places on topographical maps? There are two ways. We use two things: sheet number, that is all topo sheets made by Survey of India are numbered, which indicates the part of India covered by that sheet. Next, grid reference. Grid reference is uh, the network of vertical and horizontal lines. The vertical lines are called the eastings and the horizontal lines are called northings. The network created thus is called a grid. That is why it is also called grid reference. The points where the eastings and northings cross each other are called coordinates. The coordinates help us to locate any point on the grid. While identifying location, the easting is mentioned first, followed by the northing. Now there are two types of grid references to locate places on a topo sheet. First is four-figure grid reference. It is used to locate features occupying a larger area within a grid, that is settlements, lakes, ridges, etc. And six-figure grid reference is used to locate single point on the map, that is a post office, a police station, a temple, etc. Such kind of single point locations. While reading a topo map, we need to go with the easting first and then with the northing. For example, if you have to read 9188, we should first see 91 at the top of the map and refer to the grid square to the left of 91 corresponding to the number 88 towards the sides. Thus, the grid square to the left of 91 and above 88 will be the desired grid. Now here is a topo map which you can see. Now we are going to read this map. We are going to read different features that we have just studied and we will take them one by one. Now first is location. See here, sheet number is given on the very top of the map. Sheet number is 45D/7 and this sheet number indicates the northern part of the state Gujarat according to the Survey of India. Next comes the scale. Scale is given on the very bottom. It is 1:50,000. The representative fraction is given 1:50,000. That means 1 centimeter on the map represents 50,000 centimeter on the ground. Or we can say 500 meter or 0.5 kilometer on the ground. And the contour interval is 20 meter, which is always so as per the system followed by the Survey of India. Next comes relief. The northeast, east and central part of the region is hilly, as we can see. Spot height 592. In the northeast corner of the map with a grid reference of 928890. Now here 928 refers to the easting and 890 refer to the northing. 928 means 92, the point there on the top of the map, and 8 on the 8 points after 92. 92 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 8 is written there. See, it is encircled, so we have to see this way, 9 to 8. And if we go by the northing, then the number is 89. If you see on the west side, it is written there 89. We have to go by the line and we have to move upwards. Now here, because 592, the peak point is at the line particular itself, 89, it is on the line 89, so we will go with 0, that is 890. So this is the exact location of the peak 592, a peak measuring 592 meter. And the hills form a ridge which extends in a southwest direction from the northeast corner of the map. The western slope of the ridge is steeper than the eastern slopes, that you can see in the grid square 9186. It is mentioned there, 9186, 9185, 9387 and 9386 respectively. Next comes the valleys have spurs jutting into them. We can see valleys in the grid square 9388. There are valleys. Valley is pointing upwards while the spurs are pointing downwards. as you can see, the arrows are mentioning the same. Note how the contour lines denoting valleys point upwards towards highland, and those denoting spurs point downwards. The low ground between two peaks in grid square 9386 can be identified as a saddle. See, it's written there. If you go and see the grid square 9386, it is written there, the saddle is written there, 9386. You can see it is mentioned with a circle there, small circle, it is there. The low ground between peaks in grid square 9286 has streams flowing it, and which can be identified as a gap. Again, it is there in the grid square 9286. You can see a small circle mentioning gap. We call it gap because a stream is flowing through it. The land in the western and southern part of the map is flat. As you can see, there are no ranges seen. Brown colored lines are widely apart, as mentioned by the circles there, the ovoid shaped circles, and the distance between them you can see. Now next comes the drainage and water bodies. Drainage and water bodies mostly in the eastern part of the region are radial, as I have actually I have made the lines dark. You can see the radial type of the drainage. This indicates the hilly nature of the terrain, because as we know, radial drainage system is seen particularly in hilly areas. Streams flow down the ridges and peaks in all directions. The drainage in western part is trellised. As we can see in the western part, the region is flat, and that's why there is trellised system of drainage. Most of the streams, of which two are perennial. Perennial river, you can see it's mentioned there in the map. Towards the west, you can see there is written there, the blue line which is moving from which is flowing southwards is a perennial river. The river has a dry bed with a perennial water channel, and this river is going, and it merges with the river, which is a dry river, which is moving from east to west. There are several perennial wells we can see mentioned with blue dots towards the northern part. Northwest part, it can be seen they are widely spread there. Next comes settlement pattern and transport network. Settlement pattern, as we see, towards the flat region, it is nucleated. That is, there are many groups, you can see they are mentioned with red squares there, small red squares grouped together. That is the nucleated kind of settlement. And towards the hilly region, we can see dispersed kind of settlements. The red squares can be seen wide apart from each other, spread over grid squares 9486 and 9487 respectively. There are no settlements in the hills. Region is poorly connected. As we can see, there are no metal roads, no railway lines are there. Villages are linked with car tracks only. Car tracks are indicated with pink lines, which you can see. The elongated figures made by pencil are shown to show the car tracks. Land use and main occupations. Land use, as we can see, there are dense jungles, dense mixed jungle, open mixed jungles, fairly dense jungles are there. So the region is, the eastern half is actually covered with jungles only, the forests. Yellow wash of the color on the western and southern part of the map indicates cultivated land, that is shown with the yellow color there. It suggests that agriculture is the main occupation of the people living. Soil is sandy, as indicated by the brown dots. which you can see in the slide which is going to come next, that is the legend. So probably the most main crops grown here are millets and pulses. There is an the grid square 9188 suggests that the people also practice herding. They keep animals, as the annual fair is also held in February, the month of February every year, which is shown in 9188 grid square. Last comes the black squiggly lines and grid squares 8581 and 8583 towards the west, towards the southwest, I must say. They indicate the broken ground. The ground is broken here, and is also it is also indicated with white color, which shows that the waste, that it is a wasteland, that it's a barren land and it's not productive. So this way, a topographical map can be read, and the figures mentioned here can be seen here, that the different figures mentioned on the map can be read as to what they indicate. So that's all for the for lesson 8. So let's end the chapter. Thank you and have a nice day.